All right, this is the application for donor for a driver's license. And here's a donor question. New York State donor, state organ and tissue donation, you must fill out this section. And it says, you must answer the following question. Would you like to be added to the donate life registry? And then you either check yes or check skip this question. And then it put donor consent signature and date. There's no question here. There's no like an explicit no. It just says skip this question. So to me, that leaves open. Somebody go check your box off, sign your name on it, and they got you. But the one that I looked at, it didn't have skip this question and didn't even have a signature spot on it. It was just either yes, and there was no other option. And a lot of the other states are doing the same thing. Let's see if DMV application driver license. Let's see if that one's doing the same thing. Oh, let's see. All right. Yeah, see, South Carolina's is even more ambiguous. Let me show y'all this one. Can y'all see that? Can you see?
Yeah.
You see where it says organ tissue donation? It just has yes boxes. No.
That is so scary.
No boxes. Now, now they just updated all of these applications because it was used to be a explicit yes or no. So what are they doing? So if I don't check, I have nowhere to check. Somebody could go back and just hit yes.
That's 2 yeses too. Damn.
And they put, I want to donate $5, and then the amount. It's all yes, no box to say no. I do not want to. So they could take your signature from this application and use it as your consent and just check the box off for you. So
could you put that in an affidavit?
I would cross that out and have my, I'm teaching y'all how to do these places and go to these places and use your own affidavit. I would have that in my statement when I'm correcting the driver's license. I will put, I am not donating shit to y'all, period. Okay? I will make that known. I just wanted to show y'all that because this came up this week. Somebody was trying to correct their drivers. I said, well, and they did it online. And they came back that they was an organ donor and said, well, I didn't want to be an organ donor, but come to find out there was no real question to say no. And they did everything online.
I'm sorry, Arcane. I was just about to say that. I just went online to do something in New Jersey for some paperwork. And I stopped in the middle of it because they asked me something about donating my body parts. And it didn't have nothing to do with a license. I was just doing something else, checking registration or something. And it said something about donating my body parts, and there was no. There was no, and it was something real vague. So I just stopped the application right in the middle and just said, I'll do it later. But I was just about to say that. Online, it's even worse. So even if you think you might be saying no, it still says.
This person thought they said no, and they came back and they had it on it when they got it in the mail. They were renewing. Or they were getting a new one. They lost theirs or something like that. Yeah. So why is the country making applications like this where you can't, explicitly say, no, I don't want this? Because they're participating in body farming for whatever reasons they got. And you already been to a hospital and you was born. They didn't took your DNA. So they got you in the registry. They know what your blood type is. They know what, if you're a good donor for someone. And don't let them fool you. They always want to tell you somebody's brain dead. Your body parts have to be working in order for them to harvest it out of your body. And what makes your body parts work, keep them functioning? Your brain. For all that stuff to work, the brain is managing all of that. So the person is not really brain dead when they're telling you that. So that's for another story. But I just wanted to show y'all how they playing games with these. The government is in cahoots with farming their own people out. All right, so so how to counter these? Anybody got questions before I move on? Or do y'all want to take a break? Anybody need to go to the bathroom? Because we've been going for a minute. Anybody want to take a break? Take a little bathroom break, some water break? No? Okay. All right. I got my water right next to me. All right. How counter deeds work? Identify the presumptions, draft the counter deed, notice and record. Now you're going to record by way of a notary. Then you authenticate the notary. And once you authenticate the notary, you're going to then get it authenticated on the state level and on the federal level. All right. Same way you would do an authenticated birth certificate. Authenticating on state and federal level there. Serve parties. Update your DMV records. Update passport records. Place in any pending or future criminal, child support, IRS cases, court cases. All right. You can put those on the record. Remember, when a lawyer comes into a case, he's always doing a notice of what's that thing they call it? It's a thing that
Discovery?
huh? No, it's
Is it
not
discovery?
Discovery is when you're looking for all of the facts. They
Okay.
put a notice of who's representing it. What's the name of that notice?
Notice of appearance?
Yeah, notice of appearance. There you go. So if you're in there and you don't have a lawyer, you want to put your notice of appearance. And you notice, this is how I beat a lot of cases, just with that notice of appearance. So let's just say you're in a serious matter right now, like you're like a criminal case. And you want to, okay, you fired your lawyer. So now you got to let the clerk know who's going to be putting in filings into this case, who's doing what. You will put your notice of appearance in and state your true status in that notice of appearance. I've beaten cases just with that. They don't go any further. Wait a minute, we don't have jurisdiction over this. And then they get, all antsy and, they try to be quiet. And then stuff. So what is a counter deed? A lawful sworn declaration used to rebut or correct a presumption. We know that the government works off presumptions, right? They presume you to be a United States citizen. They presume you to be born in the United States. They make presumptions. And they did that by way of the 14th Amendment, born or naturalized into the United States. Restores the lawful record from which government derives. Presumption of consent, example documents, birth certificate, marriage license, passport, name in all caps. And Peace. What's up? This is Akeem again. Today's topic of discussion is certificates of non-citizen nationality. In this space, a lot of people say that's what you need to get so you don't look like you are a citizen of the United States or a U.S. citizen. Well, I disagree because I tend to read the rules. Like I read the laws. So let's see what is a non-citizen national. And this is taken from the Department of State website. And I'm going to show you what it is. So let me pull it up right quick. So certificates of non-citizen nationality. It says the Department of State occasionally receives requests for certificates of non-citizen national status pursuant to Section 341B of the Immigration and Nationality Act, 8 U.S.C. 1452B. So that it starts off talking about certificates of non-citizen national status pursuant to Section 341B of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Now, some time ago, I used to work with a specific individual that taught this. You need to get that certificate of non-citizen nationality, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, reading from this, it looks like that's something you need to get, right? But let's see what that really means. It says, as defined by the INA, all U.S. citizens are U.S. nationals, but only a relatively small number of persons acquire U.S. nationality without becoming U.S. citizens. Section 101A.21 of the INA defines the term national as a person owing permanent allegiance to a state. Section 101A.22 of the INA provides that the term national of the United States, keyword national of the United States, includes all U.S. citizens as well as persons who, though not citizens of the United States, owe permanent allegiance to the United States. And then it's got non-citizen national. So basically a non-citizen national is someone who owes permanent allegiance to the United States. So no, that's not what you're looking for when you're trying to correct your status as an American national. There you have it. I mean, it goes a little deeper. I could break this down a bit more, but I wanted to keep this short just to show you, no, that is not something you should be trying to strive for, non-citizen national status. Peace. The federal statutes. A person is a corporation, individual, or a trust. So when you're creating a trust, you're creating an artificial being. This is one of the biggest things I talk about. You need to create your artificial being, your ens legis, your person to do commerce. You should never be doing commerce as yourself. You should always have an artificial being in front of you, an ens legis. The government gave you one, but didn't tell you that they gave you that. That's what you were signing up for when you got a Social Security card. They didn't tell you that that was an artificial being that we was using. And you go to court and you go to, oh, what's your Social Security number? And you tell them this number. Oh, that's not your numbers. You're the agent for that number. Authorized representative to use the number, but it is not yours. It doesn't belong to you. So they gave you an artificial being, aka taxpayer. That number is the taxpayer. That's the number that's responsible for the tax account. So now that I made you aware of that, this is why you need to create your artificial being so that you can create a being that benefits you in tax law or in the tax code. That's why creating entities is so important, or creating persons is important. The same dictionary under persons. I'll look it up. I have a lot of dictionaries. You see it? See that? That's my 1611 Bible, the original King James Version. Very interesting book. Maybe I'll talk about that one day. But here it is. Persons. Person. Person. It can be considered a man considered according to the rank he holds in society and all the right in which the place he holds entitles him and the duties which it imposes. The term is, however, more extensive than man. It may include artificial beings, hear the term, as corporations. Also, it says a county is a person in a legal sense. And it says it has been held that when the word person is used in a legislative act, natural person will be intended unless something appear in the context to show that it applies to an artificial person. All right. These are all of the different definitions of person, and you must understand what those are, especially when you're doing business. See, I create artificial beings. I create persons to do business with, and they deal with the taxes based on what the tax code says. But there it is. There you have it. Inslegus persons are creatures of law. They are artificial beings. So when you set up a company, you are setting up an artificial being. When you walk around with that social security card, that is an artificial being. It is not you. Peace. Peace. What's up? What's up? It's Akeem. Hindsight Radio and partnership with the Church of Infinite Abundance and Akeem Barber Church. I present today's topic, offerings. But before we get to the topic of offerings, I hope y'all saw that little clip I played of the counter deed. Um, the counter deed webinar where I showed the application for South Carolina's application for driver's license, the donor section. It's missing, like it's asking, do you want to donate? And it just has a box to check off yes, and there's no box to say no. Now, come on. I mean, they are really trying to kill you. They want you. They want your body. They don't care about you as a spiritual being. They want that physical being because every part of your body is worth something to them. Do y'all understand that this system has deemed you worthless to yourself? Meaning, you can't, it's illegal for you to sell your body parts. But they can get your body parts by you saying you want to be a donor. And they can sell it for thousands of dollars and profit off what God created. Isn't that wild? But what's even wilder? Millions of people are voluntarily checking the box off. Yes, I want to donate and help people out. Yeah, you give away your parts, but they get the profit off of it for that same. They're not giving anything away. They didn't even create that, but you give it to them to give to someone else. They're profiting off of you, and they made you. I'm contributing to society. I'm a good person. That's the trick bag. That's the thing. You're so good that they allow you to give away what God gave you with no profit from it but them. That sounds almost like the church. Churches are there. Give us your money and you just keep praying to God. He's gonna bless you. We ain't gonna do nothing for you, but you just give us the money and we'll build somewhere else that you can go and give more money to. We'll build a children's ministry, a woman's ministry, a men's ministry. We'll do all these things. Just give us the money. This is why I started telling my people what to do, the people that work with me, what to do. If you want to give something away, give it to yourself. So whoever's listening today, I said this on Tuesday. I said it in my group. You go get you a box. I don't care what kind of box, a cardboard box, a box. And every dollar you earn, you give 10 cents for every dollar. You get 10% of every dollar you earn into that box, no matter what. I don't care what difficulties you're going through. You put that 10% in that box and you stick it somewhere, put it away. Now, you might come up on hard times and you want to spend this money. You can't. Go get, if you feel like it's really that dire, get a consultation with me and we'll confer with the spirits, the holy wisdom of Sophia, and we'll see if it's time for you to spend it. You'll get to spend it. You'll get to spend it. You'll get to circulate that money. You'll get to circulate. Let me not say spend. You'll get to circulate that money. You'll get to use it. But only when the spirit tells you to use it. Don't let the first dire circumstance come up and you go and use that money. No, that's your test. You'll find another way. I'm going to tell you, I promise you'll find another way. There was a time where I needed like $30,000. I needed $30,000. And I went to a particular person, that I thought would look out for me, help me. And I assumed that they would help me because I'm not going to give the details of the relationship, but they told me no. No, I can't do that. I can't do that for you. And now here's the thing. The $30,000 I was trying to get was really not something I wanted a long-term loan. It was only for a few days. I had put a check in the bank. It was going to take about 10 days to clear. That's what they told me. And I was trying to purchase some equipment for the trucking company. And I had a deadline to fill out the paperwork and get things moving. And I said, yeah, let me get this for now, and I'll give you this with interest on this particular day, which was probably about 4 days. They told me no. Even with the guarantee. I showed them the check that I had just deposited that I was waiting for it to clear. I showed them that. It wasn't like, hey, give me this. And I showed all of it. I gave all of the receipts. Here's the check. Here's when it's supposed to, I'm supposed to get it. Here it is. And they were like, well, you wait, you just wait on that. They didn't help me. And I accepted that. Right? And then the next day, I got a message. Some seed I had sown a while ago. I mean, a long way back, maybe probably a year or two, had sprouted. What I mean by sprouted, they came, hey, this is all working out for me. What's your bank account information so I can send you your donation? And that was about 45 grand. So it was more. See, that person wasn't supposed to help me. Maybe the money I got from them wasn't going to be the blessing to propel me forward that I needed to get from them. But it also lets you know who's really working with you. It lets you know who's really on your side right in that moment. It tells you. And see, instead of us getting upset about situations like that, we should be thankful because it's a blessing. Just because one situation closes the door doesn't mean there's another door that's you can't go through. We don't have to pout about it. We don't have to argue about it. We don't have to yell about it. We don't have to even be resentful. We need to be thankful. Because then you could put situation like that into categories. Say, okay, well, this is not a person that I can go to. This is not who the God in me need to go. I need to go to this person. They're not for me in that situation. And that's the issue that a lot of us are having. We think people are for us in situations and they're not. They're not for you. They're not willing to make an offering into you to help you. But somebody else is. Somebody who hardly know you will do it. I promise you. Someone who doesn't barely know you but knows your spirit will do it. So you don't have to worry about whether you're going to eat tomorrow. Tomorrow has its worries of its own. Everything is taken care of right now in a divine way, not in your mind's way, but in your divine way. There's a divine order of things. And because you don't get it from that, that's not in divine order. So we don't have to be upset. We don't have to even look at them like something is wrong with them. We just have to be thankful you didn't get it from them. Because maybe if they'd have gave it to you, they would have probably brought that up 100 times. Maybe. Who knows? I would never know. And I'm thankful that I never know, because so many things that came from that one incident that propelled me, so many things were revealed after that. And while those things were revealing itself, I was going through a lot of frustration and stuff like that. Then I realized, what are you frustrated about? When you was in your mother's womb, you were perfectly formed. And everything, all of the inheritance, all of the abundance, all of the wealth, all of the love is already there for you. The problem is you use your mind and not relied on the spirit to find the people to be with you. You didn't use your spiritual mind to retract those people that are divinely created, divinely manifested for you to prosper in all that you do. So let's back to the box. 10% goes into this box. You don't do anything with it. And it may sound like I'm being controlling, and in a way I'm going to admit it. Yes, because I want you to be successful. Do not use that money until you get a consultation with me. And here it is. You don't have to pay for the consultation. Just email me, hey, I got a situation, and we only going to talk about this money. And we're going to confer with the spirits, and we're going to see if it's time for you to use the money. And don't be disappointed if I say no, that it's not time. Because that's why I told you the story. Because I thought all was lost when I didn't get the 30,000. I'm going to lose out on this deal. Then I just surrendered, and boom, the money came. As soon as I surrendered to the idea that this person was supposed to do it because they had a certain position in my life, and I let that idea go. And then I realized, everything's okay. That next morning, I woke up to an email early in the morning. Boom. And it was basically hours after I let it all go. I surrendered and accepted that I wasn't getting it from that place. And this is going to have a lot to do with also what I'm going to talk about out of Never Got This book. But I want to go to the topic. Remember, 10% of every dollar you make. Now, if you want to create 2 boxes because you want to save some money that you can spend immediately, do 2 boxes or 10% in one. That box is the holy box. That's God's box. See, this church ain't telling you to give me 10%. I'm telling you to give your God in you 10% in that box. And don't be putting it in the bank. Don't put it in man's religious systems. Put it in your system. Put it off to the side. Hide it. Do whatever. Nobody needs to know where your box is. Okay? Put it away. 10%, forget about it. Like it ain't even there. Every time you get every dollar, be faithful. See, we're too faithful with everything else but ourselves. And then we're going to talk about it. So email me when you have a situation where you feel like this is your last resort to use that money. Email me and we'll talk about it. You don't have to pay for that. You don't have to go and get a consultation for that. That's all we're going to talk about. We ain't going to talk about birth certificate or anything else. We're going to talk about that. We're going to confer on that. But don't try to use me. I got to put that out there. All right, email. Hey, I got a situation. I have a considerable amount of money in this box, and I think I need it for this. But I want to talk to you first before I do it, and we'll do it. Okay. Now, if you want to give a donation just out of the kindness of your heart, that's up to you. I leave that open for you to do it. But that's the rule. Okay. See, think about this. If everybody at the sound of my voice does this, just let's say 5 people are faithful with this. And you at the end, and say you keep this money a year. We come out a year today, and we start, and I say, hey, all you guys who did the 10%, it's time to let's do something with that. And then we all get together and we build something. We start investing in properties or something. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. That's not what the calling is. Right now, this call is to store up your treasures right now. And what we do with the treasures, that'll be revealed later on. Remember, that's what Joseph had to do for Egypt. And then a famine came. And then they were the only place that had grains and food to feed. People had to come from all over to come get some. And it's the very thing that saved the haters, his brothers who were haters against him. He saved them, brought them food, gave them food. And he gave them, not only did he give them some, he gave them more than they deserved. See, that's how you deal with your haters. You don't return the evil that they gave to you. You return good back to them. Because at the end of the day, they all had to bow to him. That inconvenience he experienced those years was his actual reward. So that also tells you that there's nothing you're going to get of any greatness, any real greatness, anything of any substance, any wealth, anything big. You're going to go through something to get there. You're going to have to go through the challenges of this life to get there. There is no shortcut to that. You see people who seem to be doing well and they went through something to get there. They didn't just wake up and they had it all. So I'm in the book of Leviticus. I was doing some meditations. I picked up the book of Leviticus. And they have, Leviticus is all about rituals and sacrifices or offerings, burnt offerings. But I took special note of offering number 2 that starts at chapter 2. It's the law of the cereal meal. And then they have in common meals, offerings, flour, oil, and frankincense. Now, I went and used this mixture and burnt it on my, it's actually burning behind me, if you can see the smoke. And it reminds me of when I had a cousin pass, and he was Catholic. And they came out with this big thing, and they was moving it back and forth, and it was smoking. I said, man, that frankincense smells rich. Doesn't smell like any fragrances I have. So I put this mixture together with the flour, the oil. They didn't say specifically what type of oil, so I used a little olive oil. And I tell you, it smelled just like that incense that they had at his funeral. So let's read it. I'm going to read it. Chapter 2 of Leviticus. When anyone brings a cereal offering as an offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour. He shall pour oil upon it and put frankincense on it, and bring it to Aaron's sons, the priest, and he shall take from it a handful of the fine flour and oil, and with all of his frankincense, and the priest shall burn this as his memorial portion upon the altar, an offering by fire, a pleasing odor to the Lord. And what is left of the cereal offering shall be for Aaron and his sons. It is the most holy part of the offerings by fire to the Lord. When you burn a cereal offering baked in the oven as an offering, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers spread with oil. And if your offering is a cereal offering baked on a griddle, it shall be a fine flour, unleavened, mixed with oil, and you shall break it into pieces and pour oil on it. It is a cereal offering. And if your offering is a cereal offering cooked in a pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. They're actually telling you how to really, this is bread, actually, unleavened bread. But it's saying cereal. Because when you mix it up, when I mixed it up, it came to like a doughy. So they're supposed to cook it and everything. And then the priest would eat it. You shall break it in pieces and pour oil on it. It is cereal offering. And if your offering is a cereal offering cooked in a pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And you shall bring the cereal offering that is made of these things to the Lord. And when it is presented to the priest, he shall bring it to the altar. And the priest shall take from the cereal offerings its memorial portion and burn this on the altar. So they're supposed to break up a memorial part, burn that, an offering by fire, pleasing odor to the Lord. And what is left of the cereal offering shall be for Aaron and his sons. It is most holy part of the offerings by fire to the Lord. So they were supposed to bring this thing that they baked by fire, nothing else, can't be electric stove, it need to be by fire. And put it, you can break it up. If it's on a griddle, it's even, I mean, it's actually, that's a recipe. It's not telling you how much, but me making bread, I know how much to use. And you give a portion to the Lord. And then the rest go to the priest. Now, this is basically what I'm telling you what to do with your money. You give a portion to the Lord. You put it in this box. You be faithful to God. And you already know that I read scriptures showing that all of you are gods. Be faithful to yourself. Now, if you want to take it up a notch, you really want to take it up a notch, you really want to take this up a notch, because all of these offerings is about giving, right? Husband, wife. This is specifically for husbands and wives. Or if you're in a relationship, partner, whatever you got going on. You do this ritual, break off a piece to your partner and burn that for them. Your husband, wife, boyfriend, whatever. You can do it for your children. Children, you can do it for your parents. I can guarantee you that the prosperity in your home will go up just by giving a sacrifice symbolically through this ritual, to the high priestess in your house and a high priest in your house, which is the husband and the wife. See, the church ain't gonna teach y'all to do that for each other. They're not willing to tell you where your real power is. They're not willing to open up to that idea. See, they want you to give everything to them because the Bible says here, we don't have that structure right now. We don't have that. So what's the next best thing? Do it for yourself. This is your offering. And we should be doing things like this on a regular basis. This should be part of our lifestyle, creating a whole lifestyle around offerings. Before we start our day, we should be offering our spirit of thanks to the Most High before we even start every day. Make it a part of our routine. Make it a ritual. Because I can guarantee you, do you know the government is doing rituals every day? Yeah, they do their rituals. They send you out letters, right? Oh, your taxes are due. There's a ritual of paying them taxes. Oh, your driver's license is up for new. The ritual of renewing your registration with them. Ritual of registering your car. The ritual of taking taxes out of your check. Everything's a ritual. And you know it's a ritual because you're so used to it, you just do it without thinking. But see, you're doing everything to give them something, they giving you nothing in return, but more burdens to bear. I apologize, I missed last week. I'll but this week I came back strong. I told you, listen, if y'all do this 10% box thing, I'm telling you, 6 months, a year, life is going to be different for you. Because as you're putting in that 10%, you're going to say, this shall multiply back to me 20-fold. Whatever fold you want to use, as I put my 10%, this shall come back to me. Don't look like you're losing anything. You're gaining everything by giving something. And I feel sorry for the people who's not listening. Sorry they couldn't make it. Then they have another ritual, leaven and salt. No cereal offering which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, but you shall burn no leaven nor any honey as an offering by fire to the Lord. As an offering of first fruits, you may bring them to the Lord, but they shall not be offered on the altar for a pleasing odor. You shall season all your cereal offerings with salt. So this is bread. This is bread because that's how I make bread. The flour, the salt, and there's certain breads you don't put oil, but there's a recipe I have where you put some olive oil in it. It said, you shall season all your, here's the recipe. You shall season your cereal offering with salt. You should not let the salt of the covenant with your God be lacking from your cereal offering. With all your offerings, you shall offer salt. Wow. If you offer cereal offering of first fruits to the Lord, you shall offer for the cereal offering your first fruits, crushed new grain from fresh ears, parched with fire, and you shall put upon it and lay frankincense on it. It is the cereal offering. And the priest shall burn as its memorial portion part of the crushed grain of the oil with all its frankincense. It is an offering by fire to the Lord. And then it gets deeper. In chapter 3, it talks about the law of peace offerings. Now, this where you're doing, you're actually taking something from the flock and you telling you how to cut it up. And they're supposed to do this at the door of the tent of meeting. Imagine back then they was cutting all these animals up right in front of the tent of meetings where Moses was at. That had to be a sight. But I gave y'all something that all of us could do today. All of us can make some bread. So if y'all want to know how to make bread, okay. 3 cups of flour, good flour. And it's a very good flour. Find 3 cups of flour. 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt. 1¼ teaspoons of flour, and well, they don't want it leavened, so you don't put any yeast in this. So you leave out the yeast. Then it's oil, a little bit of oil. It said nothing. Did it say anything about water? No. So your liquid is gonna be the oil that's gonna turn it. Because when I did a little portion, it turned into a dough. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make some of that, like a big portion of it today. Now, let's get to this other thing. It's kind of on top point with what I was just. This is out my Never Got It book. It's called Personal Impotence, chapter 16. And this talks about how I surrendered to the idea that who I expected to help me didn't help me. And when I let go and surrendered, saying, oh, this matter's resolved, You see, what we do is we get so focused on one way of things working out. And when it doesn't work out, we're so focused on why that didn't work out that way. When we should for surrender, it's not supposed to work out that way. It's gonna work out, but in another more better way. That's what happened. And that happened to me on 2 separate occasions. That was a smaller amount. See, it always happened when I just surrendered to the idea that it was supposed to go a certain way. And this is the key. This little small chapter is the key to understanding why that worked out for me that way. Chapter 16, personal impotence. Self-surrender is essential. And by that is meant the confession of personal impotence. I can of my own self do nothing, meaning my own physical self. This, because remember, the physical comes from the things that are unseen, right? Everything you see right now came from somewhere that was in the imagination of a mind. Since creation is finished, it is impossible to force anything into being. See, I can't force anybody to do anything for me. They have to do it of their own willingness and being. This is why probably getting that money from that particular individual was not going to be a good idea, because it wasn't in them to do it. It wasn't for them to do it. And it's okay. The example of magnetism previously given is a good illustration. You cannot make magnetism. It can only be displayed. You cannot make the law of magnetism. If you want to build a magnet, you can do so only by conforming to the law of magnetism. So you can't make magnetism. You cannot make the law of magnetism. You can only conform to the law of magnetism, meaning you have to understand what the law is and work within its boundaries. In other words, you surrender yourself or yield to the law. In like manner, when you use the faculty of assumption, you are conforming to the law, just as real as the law governing magnetism. So when you have a situation where you need something done, you have to assume that it's already done. Conform yourself to it being done. Do not conform to the law of disappointment, the law of things not getting done, because that's a law too. That's why a lot of us are lacking, because we conform to the law of poverty or lack. We conform to that. We contract with that. There's laws all over the place. But when you conform to the assumption that this matter is dealt with, is done, I see it in my mind is done. In my spirit, God is working through me to make it happen, that it's already happened. Right? You can neither create nor change the law of assumption. It is in this respect that you are impotent. You can only yield or conform. And since all of your experiences are the result of your assumptions, consciously or unconsciously, the value of consciously using the power of assumption surely must be obvious. Willingly identify yourself with that which you most desire, knowing that it will find expression through you. Whatever you desire is working its way to you. But it's that moment that you doubt is where it stops coming towards you. So if something is not going in the direction you want it to, at some point you haven't surrendered to the idea that it's already done. You have not assumed that you already have it. You have not assumed that you're not experiencing it. You have to experience it in your spirit. You got to go into the secret place and just imagine, just like the child. This is why that scripture, I always bring it up. Jesus said, if you could be like this child, then you can enter the kingdom of heaven. Have an imagination of experiencing all that you desire as if you have it now, because you do have it. You're so attached to the physical. Well, I don't see it because you're not looking here in. Yield is the feeling of the wish fulfilled and be consumed as its victim. Then rises the prophet of the law of assumption. You have to assume it. What is it you're trying to work on now? Start assuming it now. Done. Every time I let go of the idea that I was suffering from something, I didn't get it, it didn't work out. Once I let that go and I went to a state of thankfulness and appreciation, just what am I upset about? Everything works out for you as you wish. Your wish is your command. You're the genie you're looking for. But the church call him Jesus. The church call him Christ. You are the genie. You're the one with all it. But see the difference between the one that they created out there, they imagine, he only gives you 3. You got unlimited wishes you can fulfill. Now, who's on the line? Who's out here? Let me put my piece. You're the one. All right, we got A White. Greetings, Akeem. Peace. Greetings back to you. In La Vida. Peace, Akeem. Peace back to you. Son of the One True Cream. Peace to all. Peace back to you as well. Road Warder. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. Same to you, brother. Traffic, Baltimore City. Peace, love, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. See, I love it when everybody's in sync and they're using those same phrases because it's going to manifest that. Traffic, Baltimore City said Grand Rising, back to you. DJ OJ said Peace Almighty Super Sunday. Yeah. Grand Rising, God. Grand Rising to you, God. And Church of Infinite Abundance says peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. Saying Traffic, Baltimore City. I'm the genie I'm looking for. If that's going on a t-shirt. That's right. See, he just had a money-making idea with that. You are the genie. See, that's the system has got us so messed up. We looking for everybody else to do it when you could have did it all along. You have it. You got to hold on to it. See yourself with it. Whatever it is, all the good that you desire, you have it. With that being said, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth, and enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Until next time, I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Oh yeah, remember I'm having a webinar on gun trust next Monday, not tomorrow. The following Monday, the 30th, June 30th, having a gun trust webinar. Very important webinar. How to, and this could, for those of you who cannot, because of previous background issues, this is how you can be able to get you a gun by having your trust purchase it. All right. If you want that, go to akemail.com, click the link, and sign up for next Monday's webinar, 9 p.m. Eastern time. 9 p.m. Monday, Eastern. All right. Peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to all. Have a good one. The federal statutes. A person is a corporation, individual, or a trust. So when you're creating a trust, you're creating an artificial being. This is one of the biggest things I talk about. You need to create your artificial being, your ens legis, your person to do commerce. You should never be doing commerce as yourself. You should always have an artificial being in front of you, an ens legis. The government gave you one, but didn't tell you that they gave you that. That's what you were signing up for when you got a Social Security card. They didn't tell you that that was an artificial being that we was using. And you go to court and you go to say, oh, what's your Social Security number? And you tell them this number. Oh, that's not your number. You're the agent for that number. Authorized representative to use the number, but it is not yours. It doesn't belong to you. So they gave you an artificial being, aka taxpayer. That number is the taxpayer. That's the number that's responsible for the tax account. So now that I made you aware of that, this is why you need to create your artificial being so that. Peace, everybody. It's Akeem Hindsight Radio. Today we're going to talk about artificial beings according to law. What is an artificial being? Not what a robot or anything like that, but what is an artificial being? And you may not know it or not, you are carrying around an artificial being in your wallet right now. And I'll tell you what that is in a minute. But the actual term for this artificial being is ens legis. It's spelled ENSLEGIS. It's a Latin word. You know, in law, they speak Latin. So they use a lot of Latin terms. In the sovereign citizen space, it's called a straw man. But the real term is ens legis. And the definition, according to Black's Law Dictionary, 3rd edition, a creature of the law, an artificial being as contrasted with the natural person. Applied to corporations considered as deriving their existence entirely from the law. So that's what it is, an ens legis. But I'm telling you, you have an ens legis in your pocket. You have an artificial being. You didn't even know it was. And it is that Social Security card, that name on the Social Security card. That's in all capital letters. All right? So that being that you're carrying around is an artificial being. It is not you. And if you turn over your Social Security card and read the back, it says this is not your property. It belongs to who? Social Security Administration, federal government. It's not yours. Doesn't belong to you. You get to use it as an agent. But more importantly, I wanted you to understand what an artificial being is. Because in the rules, the federal statutes, a person is a corporation, individual, or a trust. So when you're creating a trust, you're creating an artificial being. This is one of the biggest things I talk about. You need to create your artificial being, your ens legis, your person to do commerce. You should never be doing commerce as yourself. You should always have an an artificial being in front of you, an ens legis. The government gave you one, but didn't tell you that they gave you that. That's what you were signing.